Hi, welcome now from Georgia. This is Tbilisi now. I will show you this beautiful city at the main square, at the main street here. And it's very nice city. I really love it, and it's a European city. And I want it to be one of the European member states' capitals. And that should be happening now. I think we have lost enough time. And Georgia, the people, I'm very sorry that Europe has neglected you for so long. It's time now to catch up and to have fast-track EU accession for Georgia, ready for 2029, starting now in this beautiful year 2022. I will show you some of the city here during my tour. I will be here for 2 days and show you this beautiful town. I really love it. It is very nice town, and it is now also very clearly devoted towards a European future, and that's what we need to achieve. On the 19th of June there will be the EU campaign. It's before the big summits of NATO, EU and G7, and that should be very clear, the message coming from all the new countries, from Albania to Georgia, from Montenegro to Ukraine, Bosnia, Serbia, all together to join the European Union. Some countries have already EU candidate status, some need it still, but it's entirely unfair that some countries are rejected by the French on the reason of appeasement of Russia. That's of course a complete mistake. And what we need is a clear yes for Georgia to be EU candidate country together with Ukraine and Moldova. That's why I came here, that's what I will promote. And that's what I hope we can achieve, and we will achieve. I'm very optimistic actually that this will also happen. And I think here now I will try to cross the street and come to the government quarter. The city, it was very big rain yesterday, so the city is a very beautiful city. I really like it. Compared to Chisinau, where I was 2 weeks ago, it's a little bit less dynamic these days. Of course, Chisinau, also Moldova and Georgia are quite in a similar situation, but there obviously there's a very big pro-European government reform now ongoing. Here, unfortunately, we have a really big standstill between politics and a very controversial political landscape, and that's a very big problem here, specifically in Georgia. I call for a European consensus, like we did it in Austria before EU membership. That's also needed in Georgia, the political consensus between the main political parties for EU accession. That should be basically happening. I will also talk about the 19th of April agreement. The breakdown of this agreement is also related not only with the internal difficulties, but we have not had anything to offer in terms of substance. The real problem is that in Macedonian case, in 2015 and 16, in the Brisno agreement, we had something real substantial to offer. That means NATO membership and EU membership. And here, I made it already many times clear, what we can do is the euro for Georgia. That's the concrete and a direct result which will be very visible, and given the fact that the lari has lost significantly towards the euro and even more to the dollar because of the recent rise of the dollar to the euro, and it is very big economic problem here. And I'm having my vindicative day here because I repeat that I already said several years ago in 2016 that Ukraine should have the euro, and we would be much better off, of course, if we had done that already at that moment. Huh? It's quite a quiet morning. It's not very, it was, of course, it's bad weather, but you visible feel it's not as dynamic as Chisinau. Remember my videos, maybe you want to take a look. Chisinau was already fulfilled with the spirit of pro-European sentiment. Here in Georgia, we are a bit in a limbo. Over the Caucasus are the Russian forces, and unfortunately since 2008 they are also south of the Caucasus in Ossetia, and that's of course a very big problem for this country, and people are visible afraid, and that is the major issue in this country. And of course they are standing all in solidarity, and the people of Georgia are 100% with the Ukrainians, but given the proximity of Russian forces and the clarity of message which Russia is always giving, the threat of violence, brutal violence by Russia also against Georgia, they are extremely careful here. That's quite similar to Moldova. And yeah, look, it's very beautiful. To give you an impression of the city and its treasures and its ancient artifacts. It's very beautiful. It has a huge potential in tourism, transport and industry. Georgia is a potentially very rich country, but unfortunately the small market, the proximity to Russia and the political climate are major obstacles. Here this part is also very beautiful. I like it actually a lot here. I'm here now in the old town, and I will in the pedestrian area, and I will discover other parts here, and I'm very much looking forward to also getting acquainted, because honestly I was only here in February 2018 once. I'm still looking for the perfect location. Here this is this beautiful pedestrian area, and I will keep you posted on that one. What's my plan? My general plan here is of course to call for the Euro for Georgia, because that was anyhow my favorite topic, and it would have been so easy to do. Look, it's very beautiful here. Not needs to be renovated still, obviously. Here you see this beautiful place. That must be a very nice area in the evening. Here, very beautiful. Then of course it's federalism, which is so important for a country with many different regions and a regional culture which is distinct, and every country actually needs power to the regions, and Austrian SME, federal economic system, that's really very important. That's basically not only, that's the contrary to centralism, and that every country needs. Then of course, as I have made already in my tweet, you can take a look at my Twitter feed. You can see that will be very nice. I hope it will not be raining tonight, because that would be really nice here to see and to be in the evening. It's very beautiful here. Yeah, Tbilisi is amazing. Yes, of course federalism, of course the Euro, of course EU future, of course the recognition of Kosovo, of course a NATO membership, of course EU membership, I mean that's the logic of it all, and of course CEFTA and Regional Cooperation Council membership. I think that's quite clear for anybody who followed my text and my activity. No surprises up to now, so my recommendations are in line. This is how the old town looks here. The substance is quite similar to Kiev, old town in Podil, and here of course that's the same building style. And that part of Tsarist architecture looks a bit different than what we know from the Western Balkans. Beautiful it is, but this could also be in Skopje, old town, and I like it a lot here. It's very nice, and I will then look for the right location to make the statements I think I have to make. Here of course some of the old town in 2018, when I was the last time here, gave the impression it still needs a lot of renovation, but some of it is in the meantime happened. The dynamic is not as big as in, and the change is not as big as in Moldova, but the advantage of this country obviously is it had already this huge reform phase of 2004, to basically 2014. And then it's not only their own internal crisis, but it's part of the rollback agenda of Russia, when the Russians then systematically installed new governments everywhere in Eastern Europe where they could. Vucic in Serbia and Ivanishvili here. This is, for us, seems incredible what he's saying, but ultimately this is how it works. Russia has a European rollback agenda, and this country obviously, look how nice. Much needs to be done still, but much is going to happen already. And we are here at this new Tbilisi. That's the, I'm getting a bit organized to understand where to go and to find the right locations for my small video stunts in the beauty of this Tbilisi place. Getting a bit organized means also to understand where I am. You're always extremely well prepared. Podcaster is now trying to find his way through the old town of Tbilisi and looking for the main government buildings to make my case for European Georgia and to promote the future of this country in the European Union and in all the other institutions, obviously, as well. So, very good, yeah? Look, a little bit of Ottoman Empire, imperial style, and still significant room for further investment is absolutely there. And I'm heading onwards to this beautiful place, and I hope it will not rain. That would be a bit of a disappointment, if I'm honest. I will have to do my outside things because I'm in the rain monsoon time here in June. But okay, as an outside podcaster, you cannot choose the weather. You have to work in the condition. There in Sarajevo it was so freezing cold. And here I'm in the heat and in the monsoon. But my 9-city tour is coming to a close soon. I've visited then all the countries which I think should join the European Union, and they will. And they will. And again, my apologies for not coming earlier, but I've never forgotten Georgia. Look, here, still substantial work required, but old town renovation is what the EU can do very well and will do very well. Here, a lot of work still to be done. And this is happening already. Much is improved, but obviously the rain is coming, so I will just make some of the here. A lot of things need to be done. Yeah, that's a bit some impressions of the old town. Here certainly significant European investment has to be made still. And you see there's a bit of a, after the big boom of the tourism some years ago, there's a lack of international tourists now. There was a lot of tourism here, but then came Corona. Of course the country is hurt significantly by the effects of the war in Ukraine, the food and energy crisis, but also then the investment crisis. It's all striking Georgian economy very hard. and obviously people here are insecure what will be their own future. Will Russia win in Ukraine, which it won't, but of course the insecurity is hanging over the whole of Eastern Europe, and everybody watches the evening news of the battle of Severodonetsk, and you see we are in this mess here. And yes, that's the first impression of this beautiful town and this amazing Georgia. Here I think I will be amiss to mention that the reforms, it's now 20 years of European reforms here. We lost some time, but London Square Patashvili, okay, very good, very good. Here we are at one of the main buildings. You get a good impression of the city, which I think is very good. It's growing. Here the river again, this main administration building. Very good. Embankment, very nice. I think I made a good tour now. Here the hills above Tbilisi. Yes. And here of course Slava Ukraine, Geroim Slava. Very good. Yes, let me close this first roundabout. I will do some orientation, come back with more from European Georgia. Thanks a lot for listening. More to come, and please support Georgia in the European Union. Bye.